Okay. So let's compare and contrast everything from the analysis this morning. So starting off, let's see what we did. So sent out the vol reversion levels as usual. That's always a standard practice for us now until we get it onto the dashboard. Respected it very well, R1. So next thing is I set at 640, no trades until FOMC, relax today. Options are too expensive until power hour. If you trade futures or have access to futures, would suggest doing that since options are overpriced. If not, go relax till FOMC. So just starting off at 649, I said, just looking at this, market likely wants 54.50. We'll figure out what to do there. Let it do its thing. I personally hate trading price discovery sessions. Price discovery obviously being all-time highs, meaning there is no market structure to base any trade off of, since price is kind of just in a new price range for itself, right? So best choice, in my opinion, is to let the market create some sort of structure on higher time frames as well. And obviously from the data, you can see 54.50 was the biggest bar, right? And going a little bit more forward, I said it's 727, liking shorts at 54.50, but to be honest, raw does show some interest at 5,500, but very minimal, right? As you can tell, I always say DGEX over everything. Why? Because it's just more reliable, less naive. So 5,400 definitely didn't have, or 5,500 didn't have any interest on D-adjusted, which is a good thing. At least we know that, once again, being able to see the data being, correct is always super helpful. So liking shorts at 54.50, footprint running into neg delta here around the 54.50 area. This was sent out at 734. So right here, literally on this candle right here. Right. That in that sense, we always talk about the main thing is, okay, what is the ABS DGEX magnet 54.50, right? And we always talk about the very basics of GEX. Positive exposure acts like support and resistance, right? And you'll see throughout the day exactly why positive GEX and how it acts like support and resistance and how sort of reliable it is to base, trades off of that, right? So getting more into it, I just sent a bunch of like bullish SMT charts, just kind of paper trading or mental trading in my head. So all of that isn't really important. FOMC thought process 8:34 a.m. PST. Make sure you understand that this is PST. So that would be 11:34 EST. If we chop and do bullshit leading up to this and stay below 50, if MC pops us up to 50, I'll look for lotto short size for 0 and short it back down so long as we have some interest below us. Keep eyes for SMT at those highs if we get there, and watch footprint to confirm sellers are apparent. Please keep in mind, I don't play the initial move at FOMC. Will likely fade around 12. Look what happened. Right around 12, we get our fade, right? So if you had basically read everything and kind of watched the charts and stayed patient, you would have been a winner, a big winner today. We hopped off live around 12. And basically when I saw that we were pushing up, Drew and I were getting lunch, I was like, okay, I'm loading in shorts. Just because we were at that 54.50. And if you go back to the charts, let me pull up the YouTube. We still had interest below us at 25, 20 and 25, right? So everything lined up as we had expected. So if we go back to FOMC, the time frame, the last hour, I believe. Right, we started pushing up slowly, and then we got that dump right here. So once again, right here, right, coming up, we swept the highs and then we shit the bed. Right. So that was the main part. Does that make sense? Very simple, right? Just called it out in the beginning of the day. Just very, very simple stuff. And if you're patient, like the entirety of the day, basically like what I did, I had lotto calls going, and then those got absolutely smashed because they were too far out the money. But that last trade made up for it. What is that blue line overlaid? That's vol sweet. It's not necessary to pay super close attention to, if at all. But we nailed the analysis at fucking what's 8 a.m. Just calling shorts at 54.50. So if you look here, once again, right? Look at the chart. At this peak, there's still some interest here at 54.20. Then we started selling off that first initial candle, and look what happened. Look at the flip. Such a huge flip. 54.50 is almost gone on DGEX. And even on raw, it's still there, but look at the interest at 54.20 and 25, right? Those are the two main ones. And obviously on DGEX, once again, as I always say, is more reliable since it's less naive. And it showed us the way. We just kept selling off from there, right? And look, 5450 completely gone. So when we hit 2025, like right here, that would have been your area to get out. And if you look at the chart itself, right? I had that on live, I had this level labeled. And even if, let's say you missed this move or you ended up taking this one at 1150 for that power hour move, right? We longed all the way up, right, to 50. So even if you go back to here, let's go back and look before that pop up. Look what's showing. It's either or here. It's a coin toss, right? But the setup, if I remember correctly, we were on live, there was positive delta on the footprint chart, right? So when you look at something like this, okay, positive support or positive GEX will act like support, right? Target would be 50 or high of day. And you pretty much would have caught longs. The only way you would have caught it though is if you grabbed at the money or in the money. Out the money still would have gotten eaten alive. Doesn't matter what you took. Anything above like the 5450 calls, you would have gotten shit on. No offense. If you had taken anything. And I would know because I was in 80 calls, even on that run up. And they moved literally like what? Fucking 10 cents? 10 cents a contract. But yeah, so like this is what I mean by like having your levels drawn out, understanding, you know, if there's no interest above us, what are the odds that we actually push above that, right? So we talk about that all the time. That is the basis of pretty much every single trade that I take is like, okay, if I'm going to short or long this level, is there interest above us, right? Or below us? At 25, longing 25, less likely. Why? Because there's still interest at 5,400 below us, right? Versus at 5,450, there's nothing above us, right? There's a big difference. So R to R wise, longing to 5,450 is more a coin toss when we're at 25.20 versus shorting 5,450, higher probability, right? Remember, we're always taking and looking for higher probability setups utilizing the data. And this is exactly what I mean by higher probability, right? You take the short, number one, why? Because there's less interest above, you're at vol reversion R2 versus taking a long where you're in between both vol reversion levels, right? And you have interest below us at 5,400, right? So with that being said, you have a less likelihood of winning if you fucking long here, or even if you short here, right? Once again, it's a coin toss. Versus up here, you have a higher probability win rate to make a money on this trade in comparison to, you know, down here, right? Remember, Gex's curve shows that Gex has the most impact when it is at the money. So basing Gex, I guess, trades off of something like, oh, I want to go long at 54.20 and target 54.50, but 54.50 could disappear and it's very solvent. Why? Because it is not at the money. It doesn't match the curve of Gex and gamma exposure. And we've gone through the basic of the curve so often, right? It looks like this, right? The peak is at the money for Gex. So taking that into account, this is why Gex forces patience, because it forces you to wait for the levels to come to you. You don't just take the play. And you'll see all the time, if you go back and just scroll through the T on the analysis section, I always wait for a Gex level, for us to be at a Gex level, right? Whether that's the top one or the middle one, okay, right? If there's positive exposure here, then maybe that's a good enough long, right? So in the sense of like, okay, if there's negative exposure or negative delta, right, on the footprint chart building up out of support, then we're probably going to fall down. But when we're at the support level, there's positive delta on the footprint chart, literally 80,000, literally fucking 30,000 on two 15-minute candles, right? So to me, that shows upside strength, right? So the odds that I'm taking a short, number one, at the relative low day, not going to happen. I rather R to R wise, with everything pointing to higher up, it makes sense, right? Next one is, this is strictly a lotto. You have less than an hour on the day to take a short here, right? Yeah, it can go well, but once again, you size for zero because you have less than an hour on the day for that trade to go your way. But either way, if you size for zero, contracts literally went from like the 54.25s, I think I was showing Geo, they went from literally what 0.9 to 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0.9 to 16. Like that shit's fucking crazy. But yeah, does everything I said make sense? I feel like it made sense.
No, run it back.
Run it back, shoot me. Makes sense, perfect. Like a lot of it is very simple analysis, right? I mean, the analysis was given at 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., whatever you want to call it, right? That short was called out at 7:30 a.m. saying like, okay, I'm liking shorts at 54.50, right? To me, those are the ones that always make sense. And I always talk about getting in early, like sizing into a position and building a position. Because obviously, if you look at it, we never hit 54.50, right? Because this is 40 cents off. So we got to what, 40, a little under 48. But keep in mind, remember, I'm always suggesting start building into your position, right? The reason is because if you're solely waiting for it to tap, you're likely more often than not, you will miss the move. Right. So build a position, whether that be 25% or going into 50%. Can you elaborate on the part letting DGEX GEX coming to you and the whole curve thing? Yes. So when it comes to GEX, understanding the curve of how gamma looks, right? It's a little autistic, actually. Hold on. This is really how the curve looks, right? This peak, imagine this, right? If you have a big GEX bar here, right? This is the bar. Let's say this is the bar, right? Then at this point, at this gamma exposure level, and in this scenario is 54.50. When we got close and 54.50 calls turned to become at the money, right? One at the money, then what happens is its impact comes into play. Versus even if you have a big bar here, right? And your big bar is all the way out the money like this impact of this big bar isn't going to be significant. It doesn't matter. That's the part where it's like, yes, you can utilize it as a magnet, and that's oftentimes how we like to play it. But one of the biggest, like highest win rate setups are always going to be at a GEX level when it's at the peak of its impact curve, right? Does that make sense? So having spot price line up with a GEX level is always going to be a much more higher probability play. So you want to be at a GEX level and then either see some growth on Delta. Yes. First step is if you're at a GEX level, next thing is, okay, let's say it's above you, you want to be like, can I short this, right? First thing to look at, is there any pickups above that GEX exposure bar, right? Or the gamma exposure bar? If there are no pickups, okay, now look for other reasons to get in. Is there negative delta building up on the footprint chart? If next thing is there SMT? Are we at a low volume node? Is this gamma exposure bar at a short fib? There's so many entry models that you can utilize, whether that be footprint, VP, or Fibonacci retracements. PM, I saw Vana flips say above about 54.50. Go big green. What's the super big green bar? 54.30 on DDOI. 54.50 at the big bar on DDOI today, all day. See, there's one here at 54.25, but 54.50 was the big bar. Joe didn't check out the new platform. He wasn't out, or the new tool, because he wasn't at his desk today. He was at my house. Could you explain how SMT works with your strat? Yeah. So I always talk about SMT. A lot of you guys will see that that's like one of the entry models that I utilize the most because it's especially at a certain GEX level, right? Especially if we're at a GEX level. Sorry, let me remove this. Trash all the drawings, trash all the drawings. Okay. So when it comes to SMT, I always like basing it upon different setups. Hold on. Okay, so let's say 50 and pretend that this never got taken out. It's hard to use as an example. This got taken out. Yes, it did. These both got taken out. Yes, it did. Okay, so like the main one here is like, okay, you could have longed this level the moment it got swept. Right. Make sure when you're looking at SMT, the lows and highs are made at the same time. Right. So even if in this situation, right, you'll see that these lows got taken out on this candle by this candle right here, right? And this one on ES got taken out. That same low gets taken out on one of the indices, then you go long. That's pretty much it, right? You basically place your stops like this, something like this. Let's say you long here, you target the high of day. Obviously, this is a really shitty one just because the stop is so low. Makes it kind of hard. No, I was not awake for CPI whatsoever. I'm not waking up at 5:30 for that. Any SMT maybe? Not really. I mean, kind of, but not. Yeah, the dashboard isn't very it's not very active because there's no volume on options at 5:30 in the morning, or very minimal. I know like some brokers allow you to buy early. Last night I looked into today's data 54. It was crazy talk, then bam. Yeah, it's very possible. I personally didn't look at the data for today, but I knew 5400 was on board, was the largest bar. Vol reversion are just levels that we have posted that we're going to soon automate onto the dashboard, so people don't have to keep relying on me to copy and paste it. They can just copy and paste it the moment it releases with the opening value. They're just daily generated levels. Guys, this is why I don't have any levels on my chart, in the sense of like, I don't chart previous wicks, previous shit, whatever. I don't chart previous, I guess, candles, because I have stuff automatically generated. I have Gex levels automatically generated throughout the day. I have vol reversion levels, and that's all I use. I don't spend time charting. It's not necessary. All right, guys. Any more questions? There are no more questions. I'm gonna end it early here just because, well, that's it for me. Cool. You and I had a long fucking day, man. First meeting at 9 o'clock, then we had the live from 11 to 12 or 12:30 whenever we hopped off. Then we had another call at 1:30 and then another call at fucking 4. So it's been a long day. I am curious if there are any clues, like I saw. Personally, I don't like I will never base like CPI data off of the dashboard data. It's still a lotto to me. Whether it can give you higher probability, I don't really take those trades. What's your take on OPEX? Actually curious. I haven't seen OPEX numbers. I'll do a little take on that before. OPEX is what? Are we in OPEX? No, 21st. Fucking dump it. Dump that bitch back to 5,300 by OPEX. Dump that bitch right back to 5,300. Bro, right now, if I'm looking at, hold on. Maybe I should have grabbed later expiration, but I grabbed fucking 53.75 puts for this Friday. Shouldn't have grabbed them, honestly. Should have grabbed it for next Friday. How much are next Fridays? June 20th. No, 21st. 53.75s are currently $10 each. Honestly, might even grab the 50s for a fucking joke. Grab like 10 of them or something. Do strong gamma levels have by default high IV at that strike? Not entirely, because the option, like if you look at IV is very, how do I put it parabolic in the sense of like how it's graphed. Because at the money will usually have like the lowest IV more on an ODTE basis. More often than not, at the money will have lowest IV. Occasionally you'll get a different skew, but more often than not, it's like a parabolic shape. See, if you zoom out on every single time frame, it's a very parabolic shape. So, but yeah, I think yeah, literally, guys, like if you want a good trade, good R to R, swing Friday puts, make sure that you pick in the money like contracts that will go in the money. So like if you're expecting 5,300, honestly, like the 54, like, and we're sitting at what, 54.20. If we hit 54.50 again tomorrow, fucking load up some puts. Like they'll be cheap. I'm actually gonna do that shit the more I think about it.
Well,
What happened?
nothing.
Fucker. Okay. What's aggregate telling? Aggregate still shows 5350. Like it's very doable for Friday. 5350 on Friday? That'd be fucking crazy. My contract's going the money.
Dude,
Yeah. Isn't VIX math based? Yes, it's calculations. So there's no like there's no TA on it. Anyone who says there's TA on VIX, you know they're wrong. Those auto-generated levels are part of the tools. Yes, correct. You will always get those levels. We're working on, I believe the last update I got was Geo was telling me that they're working on how to display it onto the dashboard. So our testing is pretty much done. It's now more so just figuring out how it's going to be displayed on the dashboard.
on top of some other issues.
On top of some other issues. Has OPEX ever missed? I mean, I don't keep track of it personally. I don't remember every OPEX, but honestly, like data's accurate, bro. Data is accurate, and there's a reason why people who have joined TraderLink basically never leave once they put in the time to learn it. Because they realize like after they utilize the data, you can't go back to trading any other way. And like we have 29 people in here and all the OGs, they'll fucking vouch for that exact like what I just said. I mean, ask anyone in TraderLink. Like everyone's doing pretty well, and like they wouldn't trade without the data anymore. What is more beneficial, the vol levels or the new tool? Both in conjunction. Kind of like no singular one tool is always going to outdo the other one, in my opinion. I think utilizing a collaboration of a set of tools will always give you better conviction, right? Because remember the saying I used to say for the OGs in here is like conviction is the only weapon you have in the stock market, right? Building that conviction, think about it as like a gun, right? Let's say you fucking are building a gun and you're missing a piece of your gun, right? You fucking go to war, you pull the trigger, the gun explodes in your face. Why? Similar to conviction, you're missing pieces of your conviction, right? So make sure before you take a trade, you have the conviction built into it, right? That's the biggest thing. Remember that. I have a lot of like bullshit analogies and sayings and quotes in my head, but those are all the ones that I love and that I follow, right? Same thing with pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. Like those are the two big ones. Like conviction is your only weapon, pain of discipline versus pain of regret. Those are like the two biggest ones that I can relate to the stock market. But it's like you don't want to go to fucking war with a fucking partially built weapon. You're bound to lose. It's like building a fucking ray gun and you're missing the fucking what do you call it? The trigger. Imagine. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna end it here. Keep it short, sweet, simple. Short this bitch. We're 5350 Friday. Or else I do another lifetime giveaway. Geo just did one today. I'll do a lifetime giveaway if we don't hit 5450 by Friday. Even if we do hit 5450 by Friday, I'll do a fucking lifetime giveaway just because I'm on top. Yeah, plus 15K today, thanks to TL Data. Let's go, baby. If you enjoyed this class, please, once again, I always appreciate anyone that, you know what? Fuck it. 1 second. Before we end this class, I'm going to put out a tweet. And then for this lifetime giveaway, 5350, right? Hold on. Let me post a tweet and then I'll send it out to you guys. Classes. All right. Here's the link to the tweet. Like, retweet, and comment. And then by Friday, I will select a lifetime and I'll give it away. I'll give away a lifetime. Does that sound good, guys? Remember, all three, like, retweet, comment. 3 things. And I'll give away a lifetime. And follow, I guess 4 things. If you don't follow us, you're doing something wrong already. But yeah, we'll verify everything. and we'll give away a lifetime tomorrow. Or on Friday, sorry, not tomorrow, on Friday. On the live. That sound good, guys? Oh my god, dog's going crazy.
You barking at my dogs, bro, tell them to stop.
Make sure you guys comment and you follow, and I'll do that giveaway. I'll announce it Friday at the close. Friday at the close, or during our VC, because the VC is open to the public. That sound good, guys? Bro, my dog's going off.
Gio, stop barking at my dog.
Gio, can you stop barking at my dogs, please, you weirdo?
Eh,
All right, guys. We'll continue with another class tomorrow. Thank you for showing us love on the tweet. I'll pick a lifetime Friday. Jesus Christ, during our VC. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, keep moving forward. Jesus Christ, dog is going off right now. Everyone have a great evening.